Hey YouTube, Rogue3 here, back with my Tenpai deck profile. I brought this deck to locals this week, got second, and I thought I'd show it off to you guys. Tenpai is a pretty cool deck because you just get to go second and attack through whatever, just break boards like crazy. You get to play tons of hand traps and board breakers to just pick apart boards. So let me show off my choices for those, and let's get into it. So first, for engine, we are playing 3 Hydra, 3 Chandra, and 2 Fadra. Pretty standard ratio for these. Hydra and Chandra are both good starters. They just really get you going into one-card combos. Fadra is good with another Tenpai, but you don't want to draw it on its own, so that's why I'm playing 2. Yeah, so both your Hydra and your Chandra are like one-card OTKs usually. And then for spells in engine, we're playing 3 Sangan Summoning, 3 Sangan Kaimen, 3 Prosperities, and 1 Terraforming. So that is the rest of the cards to get you to your Tenpai engine. You've got the 3 Summoning to search, 3 Kaimen to search. Prosperity is kind of funny because it halves all the battle damage this turn, but in this deck it doesn't matter because you just get to kill through whatever. You can put up, 30,000 plus damage. And then the 1 Terraforming for the Sangan Summoning. So you're playing a total of 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16 starters, assuming Prosperity hits one, which is a great place to be so that you have 16 one-card starters to OTK, and then the rest can just be hand traps and board breakers, which is great. Summoning is super nice to start with because then you just get unaffected by all your opponent's stuff, so you can just play uninterrupted. Yeah, and Prosperity is nice because you can either take a starter, or if you have a starter, you can take a board breaker and just break some other board and then go into your OTKs. So that is actually all of the engine. It's a very small engine. So next, for my non-engine choices, I went with, for hand traps, 3 Ogre, 3 Mourner, and 3 Imperm. So those are the only hand traps I'm playing. If I learned anything this weekend, it's that I'd want to play maybe a couple more hand traps, just because it is a little annoying to try to play through boards sometimes, which your board breakers help with, but sometimes you just don't draw the right board breaker. Ogre I chose because it gets bodies off the board, so you don't have to kill through as much. Mourner, so that if your OTK gets interrupted, you theoretically don't have to do as much damage, because if they use your monster that you mourner for material, they take some damage, so you don't have to hit them as hard to be able to kill. And then Imperm, just another good way to stop things. It's nice going first. It's nice if they're going first and you hit them during their combos, but it's also nice to draw for 6th card to just blank an interruption as a kind of a pseudo board breaker type thing. So then after that, I'm playing 3 Talents, which is pretty good going first or second. It's nice because you can just take control of their cards or draw 2 if you need to draw into more engine. You almost never have to look at your opponent's hand, because if you go second and have talents, you just take something and it doesn't matter if they're really hand trapping you if you've got the field spell up. Then we've got 3 Fenrir. Great for going second, but also if they make you go first, it's super nice to just sit down a Fenrir and sit on it, because it's just a solid interruption. Plus, it can search itself to get more materials for your Forbidden Droplet. Droplet is kind of my board breaker of choice in the deck. It works pretty nice with the Fenrir, like I said, because you just get an extra card to negate with Droplet. And they just can't respond to anything to this as long as you use a monster. So it's super nice, worked out pretty well for me. And then last we're playing 2 Lightning Storm, 1 Snatch Steal, and 1 Change of Heart. Just Lightning Storm for either to just clear all the monsters, or if they're playing a back row deck, you just have some main deck spell trap removal. Snatch Steal and Change of Heart are just super easy, just take an interruption, especially against boards that don't have spell trap negates, but they have like an Appaloosa. You can just take their Appo and that just kind of blanks the rest of their interruptions. So that's super nice. Yeah, so that's the main deck. Like I said, I probably will change a couple of these out for hand traps. Maybe the Droplet might get swapped to another hand trap, but otherwise it felt pretty good. So on to the extra deck. We will start off with 3 Bident Dragion. This is just standard playmaker, just gets your combo rolling, because you just synchro into this, it brings something back, you synchro into your Trident Dragion, and you just kill from there. It also is super nice for if you have to go first, helps you set up into a couple combos that I'll show off in a follow-up video for this. Then we've got our 2 Trident Dragions. I was lucky enough that I had this in my bulk. I didn't have to go ask a friend for one. Yeah, just crazy OTK potential on this. If you've got the field spell up, you just pop field spell something else, and then it's attacking 3 times, and with the field spell buff, it gives it 6k attack. So just do all the damage in the world with this thing. Super nice. 2 Transcendent Dragion. This is nice if you get enough engine to start with this before you go battle phase, because then your opponent can't even interact in your battle phase, so you're just free to go in for the kill. It's not super... I didn't go into it super often, but it's nice to have available just as an option. And it kind of works similarly to your Odd-Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon that just also stops monster effects in the battle phase. This, I think I made more often. It's a little easier, being only a 7 instead of a 10. So that's there. And then 1 Black Rose as a little option if I just need to get a board wipe, and if I have enough to do that and then kill, then this is just an easy way to out the board. Then my going first engine, as it were, is 1 Ancient Fairy, Ultimaya, Crystal Wing, and Seals. So the way that I planned to go first is, well, I'll show off this combo in a combo tutorial video that I'll put up after this one, but the basic idea is you go Bident Dragion, Ancient Fairy, into Ultimaya, and then you set, well, you Ancient Fairy pop the field spell to search another field spell in your deck, because I've got a spicy one on the side. So you search field spell, make Ultimaya, set the field spell, summon Crystal Wing, and then you use whatever extra body you have on board plus Ultimaya to make seals. So you get Crystal Wing, seals, and the field spell you search, which is pretty decent if you have to go first. And then if you seals on your opponent's turn, you just get to summon one of your Pydros probably, so that you just have follow-up to kill on the next turn. So super, worked out pretty nice for me. And then the last two cards, not to spoil my side deck at all, but 2 Super Poly targets, Mud Dragon, Garura. Just the basic Super Poly targets. Works out decent. Mud Dragon, if you make it, it gives you targeting protection, which is nice. And Garura is just a nice 3k damage if you can hit indirect, so helps you with your kills. But otherwise, they're just good Super Poly targets. So with that, I'll show off the side deck. I didn't do that with Marincess, but I'll do that here. In my side deck, I played 3 Ash Blossom. I didn't main it because, like, if you Ash versus like Snake Eye, it's just gonna give them an extra extender with Hita. But some decks that really hard lose to Ash, like Branded or Flu, I decided in. Then 3 Droll. I just wanted a super high impact card on the side. I'm not playing Nib because it kind of doesn't work super well with the Fenrir's, and I thought Fenrir was more worth it for the versatility. So this is my high impact hand trap in the side. Works super well against some decks, but not against everything, so that's why it's only in the side. Next, I almost mained these 4 Bestials, Magnamut and 3 Druid Swarm. They work out super well because your tune is a 4, so you can just summon a Bestial to interrupt them on their turn, and then Magnamut can even search you one of your Tenpais, but also they're level 6 bodies, so you can just go summon your tuner and go straight into one of your 10s, and then you can keep comboing from there, which is super nice to just have that. Plus, if you do that, your Druid Swarm just gets to send a card too, so you just get tons of advantage. I didn't feel like maining it because I didn't expect that many light dark decks, more so the fire stuff. But they did come up a lot, and they're super nice to have. And then we've got the 3 Super Poly. Super good board breaker. I didn't main it because not everything gets hit with Garura Mud Dragon. Those are like the best targets for Super Poly, but I knew that some decks can play around it a little bit. But it did come up a lot. It was super nice to have. It's so cool that you just get to play all the board breakers in this deck and just go crazy. And then the last 2 cards are the 1 Feather Duster for any back row decks. That just, it's kind of like your 3rd Lightning Storm. And then our 1 Field Spell to search off AFD. If I had a Necro Valley, I would have been playing a Necro Valley, but I looked through my bulk and just couldn't find one. So I played 1 Summon Breaker. This is kind of a funny card. It's kind of just a summon limit at home, where it during the main phase 1, if the turn player summons their 3rd time, it becomes the end phase. So it makes your opponent play in main phase 2, but they have to go through the battle phase to do that. So you can do your battle phase synchro things on your opponent's turn, play a little bit into that. So, and just having this plus your other end board of Crystal Wing Seals is nice to at least pause them long enough to get back to your turn, so you can just go in for the kill. So that is my Tenpai deck profile. Like I was said a couple times, I'll have a kind of a combo tutorial, mostly just the go first line for the summon breaker and the other go first end board, but also just a couple. I'll show off the couple lines like with your different one card starters, what each line looks like for how to get maximum damage. So with that, I think that should do it. This is Rogue Tier, signing out.